K Pharmacy here in Muleshoe at 1411 West American Boulevard, and they're one of the sponsors of Mr. Valentine, our 35th annual Mr. Valentine, and also brought to you by McDonald's in Muleshoe. And you, our listeners, nominated last week David Tips, who was elected by popular vote, Basil Nash, also nominated Renee Valle, and Kim Bales. And now I think we have a presentation to you, David, from, what is your name?
Alyssa Lopez.
Alyssa, on behalf of K&K Pharmacy and everybody here, I think you're going to give Mr. Valentine something.
Yes, we present you with this gift on behalf of K&K Pharmacies. So here you go. And you also get a coupon for a 15% off over-the-counter purchase.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you guys sponsoring this contest.
No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. And also, we have a gift card from Susan Creedle at McDonald's here in Muleshoe, right down the highway from K&K Pharmacy on West American Boulevard, or U.S. Highway 84 West in Muleshoe. So, Mr. Valentine, do you know who nominated you?
My darling wife,
What's her name?
Liz Tips.
Liz Tips nominated you. What a compliment. You know it?
Well, yes, it is. I didn't realize I was that good a Valentine.
Well, evidently, you're a wonderful Valentine to a lot of people. Now, David, what year did you and Liz come to Muleshoe?
We moved here in December of 1987.
And why did you come to Muleshoe?
I was, at that time, the agency manager for Farm Bureau Insurance.
And how long did you stay with Farm Bureau?
8 years.
8 years, all here in Muleshoe, Bay County.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you had moved to Muleshoe from where?
Midland, Texas.
And what were you doing in Midland?
I was Farm Bureau agent there in Midland.
So you were transferred here?
Yes, ma'am. I was promoted to agency manager.
I see. And so where did you grow up, David Tips?
Basically Hereford, Texas.
And now, originally, where were you born? Were you born in Hereford?
Levelland.
In Levelland, So you were a born Lobo.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But you are a Muleshoe mule and lady mule now.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you have all three of your daughters when you all moved here, or were some of them born after you moved here?
We had Megan when we moved here. Hillary and Kelsey were both born here.
Now, tell me about your daughters today and where they are and what they're doing.
Megan, our oldest, has her PhD in neurobiology, and she is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, doing research. Hillary, our middle daughter, is in the Dallas area. She works for Ebby Halliday Realtors. And then our youngest is Kelsey Tips, and she is in her final semester in law school in Denver, Colorado.
So you've got them all over the country, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am. Got them good and spread out.
But they all graduate from Muleshoe High School.
Yes, ma'am.
And now, what have some of the things you've been active in after you moved to Muleshoe?
Rotary Club is probably the main thing. Since 1988, I've been a Rotarian. I've been on the school board. I was there for 12 years. And that's about it, I guess.
Well, that's a lot. Don't say that's about it. Now, tell me, who are your parents, or one of your mother's alive, isn't she?
My mother's still alive. She lives in Hereford.
What's her name?
Martha Tips.
And you go to see her real regularly, don't you?
Twice a month.
Twice a month. Now, that's one reason that you're Mr. Valentine, she would say. And so, now, who was your father?
Ivan Tips, and he passed away in 2007.
Now, we didn't bring you up to date. After Bailey County Farm Bureau agent, what did you do?
I bought Hereford feed ingredients from my father. He was ready to retire, and I was ready for a change.
And so it's located on Main Street. What exactly is that address?
It is 232 Main Street.
And do you have anybody who works with you?
My wife, Liz, and then we have a part-time employee, Pam Thomason.
And now, what about Liz? She is a nurse, isn't she? And where has she worked?
Oh, boy. When we first moved to Muleshoe, Liz was a oncology nurse. And then later on, she became the school nurse and was a school nurse for 15 years, I think. And then she went from there. She went to Clovis Community College and was a nurse educator. She has her master's degree in nurse education. And she kind of got tired of that, and I was needing help. So now she works for Hereford Feed Ingredients as a secretary.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, tell me, David Tips, now, how did you get her to be Mrs. Valentine years ago? How did you all meet?
Well, we met when we were in college. And as a matter of fact, our first date, just before probably a day before we were supposed to have our first date, I came down with appendicitis, and she fell and broke her hip. So we had our first date in separate hospital rooms.
In the same hospital?
Nope, different hospitals.
Oh, now where were you all going to school at that time?
West Texas State University.
WT. Did you get your degree there?
Yes, ma'am.
And so what was it in, David?
Industrial technology.
And so now where is Mrs. Valentine from?
She is actually from Joliet, in the Joliet, Illinois area.
My goodness, how did you get her way down here to WT?
She went to school at WT. It was one of the most highly rated nursing schools at the time and one of the least expensive at the time. And she happened to show up there, and mutual friends got us together.
Well, I'm glad they did. And I know your daughters are really pleased they did. Now, tell me, you were telling me just the other day something about your father was originally in the clothing business.
Yes, ma'am. When we left Levelland and moved to Hereford, he he came there as a manager of Gaston's in the mall in Hereford.
And that's a what type of store?
It was a department store. It had women's clothes, men's clothes, and then other house goods.
Well, that's interesting. Well, we've learned a lot of nice things about Mr. Valentine, the man that you, our listeners and viewers of Channel 6, elected by popular vote as our 2015 35th annual Mr. Valentine. Thank you, each one, for your support of these gentlemen who were nominated. And also, thanks to K&K Pharmacy and McDonald's in Muleshoe, the sponsors of this program.